Yes, everybody. Russell, the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Happy Thursday evening. Oh, EastEnders, isn't it, at the moment with West Ham? It's been it for a while. Another day, another breaking news story. Anton brought to you about Tim Steidten and is it all that's has everything been has the baby been thrown out with the bathwater? And then we've just had some, well, it was a couple of hours ago, Florian Peltenberg, who we know he's a confidant of Tim Stein, has shared some breaking news. And so, could this be Tim's last hurrah at West Ham? Well, let's talk about it. Oh, there we go. So, Florian has taken to X to say breaking. West Ham are now pushing to sign RB Leipzig striker 𝙍𝙀𝙋𝙊𝙍𝙏 Silva on a 6-month loan. New talks today. Decisive round of negotiations scheduled for tomorrow. Decisive. Some Bundesliga clubs are also keen on 𝙍𝙀𝙋𝙊𝙍𝙏 Silva. The guy we spoke about right at the beginning of the January transfer window looks like probably the guy we're going to end up getting on a 6-month loan, which doesn't necessarily, it, I mean, it's quite funny when you see some of the players we've been linked with, and you just will say, we're not going to spend money. A loan deal for 6 months. That's probably all we're going to get, in all honesty. The 29-year-old Portuguese international, 6 foot on the dot, forward. He's got pretty much 1 in 3 in his career, albeit not necessarily. He's been on loan at. He's loan at RB Leipzig. He was on to Real Sociedad rather last season. 4 goals in 27 games. This year in the Bundesliga for RB Leipzig, 1 goal in 14. The majority of that came from his time at Ajax Frankfurt, where he had a decent goal-to-game ratio, and at Porto as well. Probably 1 in 2, just under 1 in 2. He's a body. For me, he's a guy who's going to sit there and would allow the likes of Paqueta, Kudus to not necessarily need to sit up front and wait for the ball. Doesn't really excite me particularly, but we're in the need of a experienced striker, really. And as I've said, I've said it till I'm blue in the face. When Graham Potter was coming to West Ham with his Brighton team, the player I feared the most was Glenn Murray. Was he the most skillful player they had on the pitch? No. Was he the quickest player on the pitch? No. But the system suited the striker. And that's why I'm gutted about Niklas Füllkrug and the whole injury thing, because he really would have benefited from a Graham Potter sort of setup. And you saw that. You saw sort of a green shoot in that sort of first half against Aston Villa in the Cup, ironically. And it sort of was working. And actually, it was his knockdown, which then freed up Somerville, which then set up the goal for Paqueta. Anyway, 𝙍𝙀𝙋𝙊𝙍𝙏 Silva, the Russell rumour rating, I think will, and the original rumour rating, by the way, I can see this one happening really soon, and it might be one of those ones that they've had on the back burner for a while, and now because of things not working out, or maybe we have 57 from a 57 million pound bid for a 20-year-old striker who's got the best years ahead of him, to then a 6-month loan for someone who's probably who's coming to the tail end of his career. In all honesty, it's a bit of a come down, but it's a bit of a West Ham come down we've all been very used to, and I can see it happening. What was quenching with Florian's tweets was he put a little new icon. If a move for Silva fails, we've got a backup. Don't worry, we've got a backup. We've got Brian Brobby, We've got Brian Badumberg. We've got Brian Broby, I don't know, as a backup, who's younger, who's a little bit smaller, a little bit taller. Wish he was a baller. He's not as prolific, but he's a totally different striker. He basically looks like an Antonio regen, to be honest. When you look at his stats and when you look at him as a person, he's a big. Well, he's not tall, but he's a chunky unit. He's a chunky unit. Dutch international, 7 appearances for Ajax. What has he done for Ajax? 128 appearances for Ajax, 46 goals. So again, 1 in 3. Pretty much every striker we've been linked to at the moment has been 1 in 3. But for me, it's not like he's quite a different presence. He is very physical. I'd prefer Brian than Andre, in all honesty. But I can't see it happening. Although we do have a good relationship with Ajax. We've taken Kudus. We've taken, what's his face, Edson Alvarez as well. Might as well get the fucking hat-trick, innit? We gave them Carlos Borge. Do you remember him? 60%. I think the Andre deal is going to come off. It's a loan deal. He'll obviously want to come to the Premier League rather than necessarily... Andre's been around the Bundesliga for a while now. How many seasons? 1, 2, about 5 seasons. He's played at Serie A. He's played in the Premier Liga. He's played in La Liga as well as the Premier Liga with Sevilla and Real Sociedad. Premier League just the last club, the last league rather. He needs to get his set, but just not particularly. I don't know what the word is. Just a bit, innit? A bit meh. I think probably the fact is we'll be welcoming hopefully Crescencio Somerville back this week. Next week, I'd imagine you'll probably see Bowen back, and then with someone a focal point up front, it does allow the rest of the team to fall behind them, so to speak. So the likes of Bowen, the likes of Kudus, the likes of Somerville, the likes of Paqueta. It's just really frustrating, really, isn't it? And it's obviously in yesterday. Although, funny enough, Rob Dorset from Sky Sports has doubled down on the Banzuzi deal, and it's like, well, if he's adamant that it's been agreed. I love it. It's just mental, isn't it? It's mental at the moment. Haven't you got a game to play on Sunday? Press conference tomorrow. It's going to be quite interesting with Graham Potter. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of questions asked about that. Plenty of questions asked about Tim Steidten as well. Plenty of questions asked about Carl McCauley as well. It's going to be quite an interesting one. So make sure you join in afterwards for the debrief. We might try and do that live, the press conference debrief, and get your thoughts on that. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, stay dry as well, stay safe as well. If you're in the storm bit, and I'll see you soon. Much love. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.